So I've gotten a lot of questions lately about my concert photography and how I got into doing that and how I got into the Seattle music scene. I haven't made a video talking about this completely on this channel, like ever. So yeah, here you go. So how it all started, I answered an ad on Craigslist that said, music site needs writers. And I was like, well, I can do that, that's cool. So I answered the ad and I started writing album reviews for a website called Pop Reckoning. And I was with Pop Reckoning for like 2 years. When I started doing album reviews, I really liked it. And then I realized, hey, I could get into shows and stuff. I started requesting for shows, and honestly, it's not as complicated as you think. If you have an editor, if you have an outlet, if you find a band's manager, a publicist, PR person, and you email them and be like, hey, I write for this so-and-so blog, whatever, I would like to cover this show, is there any way that I could get on the guest list or get a photo pass? So the first show I ever shot was actually The Lonely Forest at the Showbox, and Telekinesis and the Globes opened for them, and I remember that day I had a camera but I didn't have a lens, so like on my way to the show I went to Tall's Cameras at the mall and picked up this little sucker. This was my 50mm f1.8, my little trusty baby lens. And if you're getting into concert photography, invest in one of these because they're super cheap, they're a good way to practice, they have no zoom on them so you have to get good at it. If they break, they're not gonna put you out like 400 bucks, but this one did break fairly early. There you go. It took really good pictures for how cheap it was. So I started with this. I had a couple of friends who did concert photography who I met through the We Are Scientists message board. Hey Amber and Polly! And they were doing it before I was, and so I just asked them a lot of questions. I connected with them. That's the best way to kind of learn about stuff, is to find other people online that are doing something that you want to do and just like message them, contact them on Flickr, wherever, just kind of ask for advice. Usually people are really cool about giving advice about that stuff. I know I'm really cool about giving advice about that stuff. I've had a lot of people message me on Tumblr about it. So after that Lonely Forest show, it was Rooney and the Crash Kings in Tally Hall. That was fun. And then the very next show that I did was Deck the Hall Ball, which is 107.7 The End's like radio show. And that was huge. Like I had no idea what I was doing, but I was like in this pit with all these other fancy photographers, and it was Muse, 30 Seconds to Mars, Phoenix, Vampire Weekend, Metric. That was pretty much like the craziest like thing that had ever happened to me. Basically my whole first year of doing concert photography, I was just in a constant state of I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy. And after that year I did Editors, Phoenix again, The Cribs, Spoon, and then We Are Scientists came, and there Portugal the Man. There was a bunch of other shows that happened that year. I think the only thing I didn't get a pass for, honestly, when I requested for it, was from Florence and the Machine's people, and then I ended up requesting to the opening band, like their publicist. So if you ever get shut down, contact the other bands playing the show. If you ever do that and they don't give you a pass, look other directions. That's some advice for getting into it. Just like find the band's publicist, get an outlet, and there's a lot of blogs that are looking for people, like a lot of kind of just national blogs that have people who contribute in a whole bunch of cities. And if you live in any sort of like metropolis or whatever, there usually will be some sort of music blog or a few music blogs or like dozens of music blogs like there is in this town. And usually there's a lot of ad on Craigslist for people looking for reviewers and photographers. So that's always nice. You don't get paid, but it's a fun thing to start out doing if you want to get into photography. As far as the Seattle music scene, I didn't actually get into Seattle music besides like Lonely Forest and Bright Futures until like 2011, when I saw The Head and the Heart open for Vampire Weekend. And then I saw The Head and the Heart again at Numos, and Lamolo opened for them, and then that kind of set forth all of these dominoes of like me getting to know all these other bands like Lamolo, Alan Stone, Chris Orlowski, Campfire OK, Noah Gunderson, St. Paul Levance, and then it kind of took off from there. Falling Lipsticks. But I didn't really extensively get into Seattle music until Andy and I started dating, to be honest, because he was so into like local musicians. Like he was really obsessed with Noah Gunderson. We were going to so many of these little shows, these little acoustic shows, like house shows, stuff like that. House shows are really fun if you want to like meet bands and get to know people and take pictures without anybody caring. Finding venues that are small and don't give a shit about you bringing in a camera is the best way to start, the best way to practice. The best way to get good at something is to suck at something for a while, to be honest. Like that's a whole life lesson. Suck at something for a long time and then you will just eventually get better. The best example is photography, because when I look back at my old pictures from like the first few shows, I was like, wow, I was really bad. Why did I save that picture? I don't know. And as far as local music, going to the house shows are great, but you want to talk to the people. You want to network, you want to kind of become friends with them, because when it's a local band, when it's somebody who's not like this international superstar who's like touring the country all the time. So if you treat them like they're like Arcade Fire or Fall Out Boy, they're gonna be awkward. They're a person that just happened to play music that you like and that you've seen live. Making a connection with one person will kind of lead to more connections with a whole bunch of other people. At least in our town, at least in Seattle, the local music scene is so tight and so vast. Like it's so big, but everybody knows somebody else and everybody has played with somebody else and everybody has played in a band with like 3 other people. And it's a really fun thing to be a part of if you get a chance to be a part of your local music scene. I have been wanting to make a movie about going on tour with a band for like months now. And so I need to figure out a way to ask people, be like, hey, next tour you go on, will you take me and I will shoot the whole thing and be like a merch person for free if you'll take me with you, so I can make a movie, a documentary about a touring band, because that's what I want to do. Like, I've always wanted to be that kid from Almost Famous. I love writing, and I still want to do that, but like, this is almost an easier way to reach people through video. That is a thing that I would like to do. Get in even more into the scene, because I like it, and I like the people that I've connected with. Some more than others. Yeah, so that was my story. How I got into all this. So if you have any questions, any more questions about it, leave them in the comments below. But for the rest of you, I will see you guys on Monday. Yeah, it's Saturday. Yeah, I was like, what day is it? So have a good day. Bye!